Welcome to the Monday edition of Shoot the Shot. I'm your host, Adam Linkenauger, alongside the great
Alex Jones.
And today we... it's always so good. And today we are talking weekend basketball. We're going to talk about last night's games, of course, but we also have some other really, really important things we need to discuss. One being LA. One being a comparison. Who would win between a Steph KD, a LeBron Kobe, or a Jordan Pippen duo 2-on-2 game? All right, that's going to be interesting. That's what I'm really excited about. But first, let's roll into the footage. Let's roll into the games. The first game that we have is Sacramento and Milwaukee. Milwaukee came in and demolished the Kings 144-109. This is a Kings team that I think has been playing fairly well, but out of the gate, they were just outmanned and outmatched. What'd you see?
I saw Antetokounmpo with a triple-double of 26 points, 15 rebounds, and 11 assists. The man was on a mission. Eric Bledsoe had 17, and Malcolm Brogdon contributed with 13. So this team was firing on all cylinders.
This team is firing on all cylinders. I mean, we're looking at a Bucks team that's 8-1 right now that have been truly unstoppable. They dropped 144 points last night. And, yeah, Giannis is just next level. He's saying that MVP run is real. It's mine. I want it. Next game, we have the Philadelphia 76ers heading into Brooklyn. Brooklyn really took this game. Even though a fairly slow first quarter start, Brooklyn ran away 122-297. What did you see, man?
I saw a lackluster Philly. Brooklyn dominated after the first quarter. They outscored Philly by 28 points across the final 36 minutes. The assist-to-turnover ratio was just horrible.
Yeah, I don't know what happened at halftime here, but Brooklyn came out the second half and just truly, they destroyed a Philly team. Dude, let's talk about Philly for a second. Are they not for real? Are they not the team we thought they were?
Man, Adam, I'm disappointed in Philly, like wholeheartedly. Last year, they looked so close to the promised land, and now they're further away than ever.
Yeah, it's looking worse and worse, and it's really making me second guess the East specifically. Is this now just a two-team conference? Are we really just looking at a Toronto Boston matchup?
It's a 3-team conference.
Who you got out?
Toronto, Boston, Milwaukee.
You're right. You're right. Just talked about them. So you think Milwaukee has a chance there?
Milwaukee is showing that they're here, so
okay,
we will see.
Okay, hey, I like it. Next, we have the New York Knicks heading into Washington, and guess what? The Washington Wizards won a ball game. They took it to 2-7. They won 108-95. Walk us through it, man.
Well, first and foremost, the Wizards took a 24-17 first quarter lead. New York finally closed the gap to 3 points going into the final 12 minutes, but they outscored the visitors by 27-17 in the fourth quarter. That was
the deciphering factor here. Is they demolished the fourth quarter. They took control, and they actually looked like that playoff team that we know out of Washington. For the first time, John Wall had 26. But I tell you what, Enes Kanter for New York really stepped up with an 18-12 game. Yeah, your boy Tim Hardaway had 4 assists, but I don't like I'm not seeing him on the score sheet above an Enes Kanter. That's not great. All right, moving on. We have the Orlando Magic heading into the San Antonio Spurs. Pretty competitive ball game. Out of the gate, Orlando looked like that they were going to really just take this. But
yeah.
San Antonio had a crazy fourth quarter and came back, but it wasn't enough.
If I'm the Spurs, I'm upset. If I'm the Spurs organization, losing to a team like Orlando, I mean, no shade against Orlando, but just the matchups aren't there. So something has to be done better than that. This is a game you don't give up, if you ask me.
Right. Well, you had a 20-point third quarter against Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
A 3-6 Orlando Magic. There's no reason in today's NBA age that you can have a 20-point quarter ever against anyone. That just can't happen when, it's like the average team scoring 110 right now. It just doesn't make sense. So that's a huge problem. Moving on, we have Memphis and Phoenix. This was arguably the game of the night. We had Booker hitting a game winner at the end after a pretty remarkable comeback in the fourth to win this ball game, 102-100. What's up, man? I thought Memphis was real. They just lost to, going in, a 1-7 Phoenix.
That fourth quarter was just horrendous. Like you said, they only scored 19 points. They gave up 25. And, of course, if you give Booker an opportunity, he's going to get it done on any given night.
Right.
Especially Ariza contributed to 9 rebounds. Booker also had 7 assists, so he's getting the rest of the team involved as well. So kudos to Phoenix, 2-7 though, so it's not much noise coming out of there. But Memphis, you got to do better than that.
Right, I completely agree. Next, we have another team that I thought had a chance. They've got a lot of drama about them. They actually, arguably looked decent for the first 4 or 5 games, but now we're looking at a Minnesota that's 4-6, went into Portland, and just got mopped, 111-81. What'd you see?
Just horrible play in the second and third quarter by Minnesota. They only scored 18 points in the second, 19 in the third. Karl Anthony Towns led the game with 23 points. Nurkic for Portland dropped 19, literally had 5 assists. I'm just not convinced in Minnesota's, consistency.
Well, and I was really disappointed in watching Portland against the Lakers, too.
Yeah.
They never looked like that they were in it. And, it's good that they pulled this win out, and they are 7-3. But, I'm not completely convinced that Portland is a different team than last year. So.
I am.
You are? Why?
Because Dame Lillard is not to be played with.
Well, he couldn't put up 19 last night.
He don't got it. He doesn't have to. He's letting everybody know he doesn't have to be that scorer for them to get the win.
He sure is, because he ain't scoring.
He got 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists.
That man, come on. Today's league, 18 points. Come on, Dame.
They got that W.
He's gonna get snuffed again, man.
We talking about practice here.
All right, moving on. Final game of the night: a Toronto Raptor team against the LA Lakers. Keep in mind, Toronto was down a pretty important piece last night.
Man, I'm just completely embarrassed to be even affiliated with the Laker organization or to say that I've even been a fan or am a fan or anything along those lines, because of the simple fact, how do you give up 42 points in the first quarter? Like somebody playing 2K and they gave their little cousin the controller. It
was a franchise record low for a fourth quarter, and it looked it. It was bad. Coming off the cusp of this talk about Luke Walton being fired, Magic coming back in and saying, "Hey, he's good. He's not getting fired. He's going to be our coach through the end of the season unless something drastic happens."
Well, a bad record is definitely drastic.
Right? Now, again, this was a team that was missing their star, right? Like in Toronto, they were resting. They were chilling. They were coming in here, their most important piece down.
Yeah.
And still just rolled through.
And it's embarrassing.
Is this because LA's that bad or because Toronto's just that good?
It's because LA is that bad. The coaching was bad. The adjustments was bad. I wish there was a way that I could see how many timeouts Luke called in that first quarter, because quite frankly, if it's me, the minute that they drop 20 and we don't have anything substantial.
Well, in the first half, Serge Ibaka was shooting like 94%. I'm not sure what he ended with from a percentage standpoint, but it had to be remarkable. Because he was just lighting them up. I thought he was literally on pace to score 60 points.
88% last night.
88% from the field. So there is talk, and it should come through today, that Tyson Chandler is going to be coming to the Lakers.
And I think that's the most idiotic move the Lakers can make. Why? He's outdated.
He's coming in because our only what we call a center, if he goes down, then we're really screwed. He's a 36-year-old center. He can run the court somewhat. He can move somewhat. He can defend a little bit better than what we currently have. I just look at him as just a plan B piece that, the way that JaVale's playing, he's likely going to get hurt. He's just going balls to the wall, and he's likely going to get injured if he keeps it up. So that's what I see this piece as. It's not going to cost you anything. Why not?
But on the other note, since we're still on the subject of the Lakers, look at their field goal percentages for last night. Like it's horrible, and we'll talk more about this later. But I'm just very disappointed in the Lakers organization right now.
It's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. So we'll get back to it. I want to step back. I'd like to step back and talk about just Philly in general. We've talked about them some. What are your thoughts with Philly, man?
Philly, to me, currently right now, has let down their organization, their processes. It's taken a lot longer than what people expected. They thought last year was, signs of the time that, hey, we're here. But now Philly is 6-5 with a rough start. Their first-round draft pick from last year has not been fully integrated back into the lineup yet, and the parts aren't meshing. Mm-hmm. So it's not looking good for Philly right now. You're fifth in the conference.
If you're Embiid, how angry are you? Because he's balling. He is balling.
And was talking stuff on social media. He's the one backing it up. But I'm just depressed at what I'm seeing, from everybody else.
Right. No, I completely agree. This is a team that I believe on record I said that they were going to be a better team than Boston, or maybe it was Toronto, one or the other. I said. Here's what I thought. I thought Boston was number 1. I thought Philly was going to be number 2, and I thought Toronto was going to be the number 3 team.
Yeah.
And I'm completely backwards on this. I mean, I don't even, now I still believe personally it's going to come down to Boston, Toronto, and Toronto I think is just getting it done this year. But I don't know. It's been a mess.
Well, we definitely have to, like you said, give kudos to Embiid. But the question that I got to ask you is, do you think LeBron is happy that he did not go to Philly?
We were talking earlier, LeBron, because he should have run to Philly. I think at this point it's so early that I don't think he's disappointed for real, because if you look at the contracts the Lakers have, it's all young rookie contracts and all one-year veterans. Uh-huh. This team will be blown up. This team will be an entirely new team. When the pieces can fall into place, I don't know. But I think that this is a year of, hey, we got LeBron. It was too late for other players to either they didn't have control or they were already in contracts at the point LeBron came on. We couldn't really get any other pieces in LA.
So who is to blame for the Lakers' bad start? Magic was just on record recently stating that Luke's job is safe, but is it Magic's team? Or is it Luke's coaching? I
mean, Magic, you can say LeBron, but it was Magic who brought in a team that simply could not shoot. Mm-hmm. We do not have shooting. But yet, or really any interior defense, to be clear. But this is a team that is third in the NBA in scoring, and they can't shoot.
Yeah.
And that's to Luke's credit. They can score the ball. They're averaging 120 points a game. I'm sure, last night knocked them back some. But they're averaging 120 a game because of Luke's coaching. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, this is Magic's fault. Because he brought in the pieces. Given what he got, he made us better than a year ago. But given the pieces, bringing in a team that simply cannot shoot in the Western Conference, what do you expect?
Well, to add testament to the fact you said that they can't shoot, I'm going to read you some field goal percentages from last night's game. JaVale McGee shot 16% last night. Josh Hart shot 20% last night. Rondo shot 44%, which is surprising for Rondo. Stevenson shot 25%. Caldwell Pope shot 30%. Zubac shot 33%, and Malahakalakuluk, however you say his name, he shot 33%.
Unbelievable.
It's embarrassing.
It's so bad. And if you watch the game, so Luke's put in a system that, think about his tutelage. Think about where he came from. He's coming from a Warriors team that anyone on the court can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Now he's been given the pieces of a team where arguably LeBron is your best three-point shooter.
Which is saying something.
LeBron's not known to be a three-point shooter. He's a three-point threat, but not a three-point shooter. So when you take someone and Magic inherited Luke, to be clear. He inherited him. Luke was already there when Magic got
Wasn't his guy.
Wasn't his guy. But Luke's system is what he knows and what he's been installing with his young team.
Okay.
So now we've got a team of players who can run every single position. We have a very a fluid team of positionless basketball, but no one can shoot.
Well, let me ask you this then. If it's not Luke's fault, how long do you see the Lakers keeping Luke?
I don't think he'll make it through the season. I think that he, despite what Magic says, Magic gave himself some leeway in saying unless something drastic happens.
Well, that was last night, baby.
Right, exactly. So I have a feeling that, and Chris Broussard really brought a couple names to mind here. I love one of them, hate the other. So those two names were Mark Jackson or Jason Kidd possibly taking Luke Walton's job.
I like Mark Jackson.
I like Mark Jackson.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd, we kind of saw what happened.
Yeah.
With Mark Jackson, he inherited a team of, good players, good young talent, almost like it'd be like the equivalent of a really good Sacramento Kings team. He inherited that with the Golden State and turned them into the powerhouse before handing it off to Steve Kerr to start collecting rings.
Yeah, which I still think is a little messed up.
It's a little messed up, right?
Organization, but hey, it is what it is.
I also think Mark Jackson's got some age on him.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is really, really key. When LeBron can look at a Jason Kidd and think, hey, we went at each other.
Yeah.
I think that, that's a little different, where Luke Walton and LeBron came from the same draft class.
Yeah.
How hard would it be to be coached by someone whose ass you kicked? Repeatedly. You know the game better. You owned them on the court, which, say what you want about it. I think that would play a role where Mark Jackson's proven to be a winner.
Yeah.
He's proven that he can turn a relatively, I'm not going to say a bad team, but not a great team.
Into contenders.
And he builds a culture.
Yeah.
LA, the cool thing about LA is the exterior of LA, meaning the fans, the sponsorships, the business, it already is there. It has that culture. Not only did Mark Jackson turn this team into a winning team, but he turned a culture in Golden State and Oracle that was just unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. So I like Mark Jackson. To be fair, I like Luke. But this is not the team that Luke is going to excel with. No chance. No chance. It's just there's no shooting, and it's showing, and it will continue to show. Whenever we're putting up 120 plus, it better be layups and in the paint, because if it's due to shooting, we should be scared because we're not going to keep those numbers continuous.
Well, with that being said, I guess the question would be how many games is too far for the Lakers, to be behind, or even. Not even just the Lakers, but the Houston and Washington in general. How many games is too far back?
What scares me for the Lakers being a playoff contender is they have an excuse. They have a coach that they're going to most likely, if they continue to lose, throw under the bus and say it was his fault.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be a playoff team because it was his fault. And that's just incredibly unfair because this team does have talent. They can't shoot the ball. Don't get me wrong. But do I think that they could be an 8 seed? Yes, I do. I still do. Are there? I mean, we're what, 9 games in at this point? We're not so far gone by any means. We're about a 9th through the season or an 8th through the season at this point. There is plenty of time for not only things to happen with this team, but also for adjustments and trades to possibly be made. This team has a good chance still of being a playoff team. Houston and Washington are a couple other teams that come to mind. If you're Houston right now, what are your thoughts?
We got to abandon ship. Something isn't working.
It's not working.
Something is not working. We got to abandon ship. But D'Antoni is so set in his ways that it won't happen. And they'll probably play their way out of the deficit. But I see at the rate that Houston is going right now, unless they put together another streak like they did last year, I'd say they'll probably be around 4th.
Yeah, and that's honestly, I think that's a big win for them right now.
Yeah.
That's a huge win for them because right now they're looking really, really bad. maybe that last win where the players literally kicked out the coaching staff and said, we got this, go away, we're going to handle this. Cool to see the players getting involved and taking control like that. But what does that show from a disrespect to the coaching staff?
Well, I don't think it's so much disrespect, more so, hey, we tried it your way. Let us do our thing. We got you, kind of thing.
I mean, it's definitely what happened. But if I'm the coach,
feeling salty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the fact that they turned around and got it done, ooh, that's a tough spot. Worse. I think that's another. I don't know what D'Antoni's contract looks like, but that's another
strike on him.
Yeah, that's a question mark for me. And again, he's a guy that I just don't see why. Even though the league is starting to play to his strengths, I just don't like him as a coach. I never have. So it is what it is. All right, one more team, Washington in the East. What do you think? Can they play out of this? They got a win last night.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, this is a team that, if they could get to 500, they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, they can get to 500, definitely. But can they play back to where I projected them to be, like somewhere around 4th? No. They'll probably be bottom of the conference.
Right. I agree with that. I think they're still going to be a playoff contender. Hopefully at that point they can, get some rejuvenation about them and maybe make a run. But, yeah, I agree. I think that they're going to be a deep seed. And they're just not good. They're just not a good team, at least at this point. But I don't know if I see anything happening.
Yeah, they are 2-7 right now. About 7 games back?
Oh man, not good. All right, so I want to ask you a question here, and this is a hypothetical, of course. This is when I ask you this question, this is when each of these duos is in their prime. Whether they played together or not, this is when they're in their prime. Who wins? LeBron and Kobe, Steph and KD, Jordan and Pippen.
LeBron and Kobe all day. To me, it's not a contest. It just doesn't make any sense to give that to Steph and KD. Whoever's guarding Steph, they're going to get locked down by either Kobe or LeBron. And then basically whoever has the ball, whoever Steph is guarding is who I'm going after, who's getting the ball and who's scoring. KD would give a little opposition, but if this is prime Kobe, right, Kobe's going to put the clamps on KD. As far as Jordan and Pippen, Jordan is a viable scoring option. Pippen is not. I don't see him doing whatever he wants to a 260-pound LeBron James. It's just not happening. And Pippen was not the best offensive, threat at all. I can see Pippen getting some stops on defense, but he can't hang with LeBron either. So
I look at this as in 2-on-2. I don't like deep scoring. I don't like deep three shooting. It's just not how I've ever enjoyed playing 2-on-2. I don't win very often when you have a shooter on your team.
Yeah.
It's just tougher, at least from my experience. Here's my order. I have LeBron and Kobe as number 1. I think that LeBron's too big and Kobe is talented enough to hang with any other player.
Yeah.
Next, I have Jordan and Pippen. Based on size and strength alone, I think Steph's going to get his, but he is no way in hell going to stop Michael Jordan.
No, not at all.
Pippen will stop KD some. He won't own him. He won't win that battle, but he will stop him some. And KD, of course, will stop Pippen some. LeBron and Kobe, Pippen versus LeBron would be that matchup, I would assume. Pippen's going to get a few stops. Great defender, but he's not going to by any means stop LeBron James. Kobe and Jordan's going to get the edge, of course. Jordan's, whether the argument is he's slightly better to a lot better offensively and defensively than Kobe. And as a Laker fan, I hate to say it, but it's true. I just think that LeBron and Kobe, LeBron just is too much.
Well, all right. So let's change it into this perspective, though. All right. So LeBron and Kobe are on the team together. You got Derek Fisher. You got Lamar Odom. All of those pieces right there. Could they get it done against today's Warriors? How many rings would they have gotten
against today's Warriors?
Against today's Warriors.
And it's LeBron, Kobe, Odom. What's under the basket?
Let's say Paul Gasol.
Okay. Yes.
And the reason this conversation stems up is LeBron actually made a post where he put a picture up of him and Kobe, both in Laker uniforms, and says, "Imagine if we would have did this," and ... Never mind. So,
he's really throwing out the what ifs since of late. Goodness. I think that they would have just had too much size and strength on the outside, and they're two players that are capable of scoring between 50 to 80 points
whenever they want to.
So I think the scoring would just be too much, and I think that they would be good enough defenders. Don't get me wrong. Someone on the Warriors will get theirs. But would it be a Klay Thompson? No. Would it be even a Steph or KD? One of those players, or two of the three really keys of the Warriors offense is going to have a hard time in a 7-game series, which is the way I like to look at this. I don't want to look at it as a 1-game thing. Yeah, I think LeBron, Kobe in their prime, with a capable Pau Gasol, with a capable Odom, and that would be a very long team, by the way. It would be a big team against a pretty small, outside of KD, of course, Warriors team. I like that a lot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So tonight, we'll just wrap this up, going through tonight's games with predictions. So tonight, let's see what we have here. We've got Miami heading into Detroit. Who you got?
Say Detroit.
Detroit, I like it. I like it at home. I think this will be a competitive game. But, yeah, I think Detroit gets it done. I also can see that Whiteside is either not playing or coming off the bench. So there you go. Next, we have Houston and Indiana.
I say Houston. I think Houston gets it done this day.
If they get it done, they're going to start. They quite possibly can turn the corner.
Yeah.
I think that this is a vital game for them going into a solid Indiana team, 7-3 right now.
Yeah, just matchup wise, they'll dominate.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. They need it. Next, we have a 1-8 Cleveland versus a 3-6 Orlando Magic.
Orlando all the way.
Yeah, so I think that Cleveland's going to have a chance here because Orlando is, coming off of the game, right?
Yeah.
Yep, so I think that they do have a chance here. But, yeah, I think Orlando gets it done. Next, we have Chicago going into the Knicks. 2-8 Chicago versus the 3-7 Knicks. This is our battle of the bad.
I actually want to give this to Chicago versus the Knicks. Just from the simple fact of what I've been seeing from Zach LaVine here lately. Plus, if you look at New York's lineup, I don't see Porzingis playing.
Which he won't be for a while.
Yeah, so Jabari Parker, the matchup is just against Noah. It's just, yeah.
So I'm going to say, I'm going to go the opposite here. I'm going to say at home, your boy Tim Hardaway gets it done over Zach LaVine. I could be crazy, but I think he's going to have a good game here, and see if I can call one. All right, next we got New Orleans heading into OKC. 4-5 Pelicans versus a 4-4 Thunder.
OKC will get it done.
Yeah, I think that Steven Adams is Anthony Davis's head and shoulders above him. Don't get me wrong, but Steven Adams is rough. He's mean. Yeah. He's not, he's not as fundamental as a defender that I think that Anthony Davis would just dominate. I think that he's just that mean brute. If he doesn't get into foul trouble, I think that this could be a long night for the Pelicans.
Well, and then Drew Holiday doesn't really match up well with Westbrook, nor does Wesley Johnson match up with Paul George.
Sure.
If Paul George is playing like he can at a high level, then of course. And then you also have that Westbrook factor. Some days he's hot, some days he's cold. But I look to see OKC come out with the win on this one.
All right, next I have what I would consider the game of the night with Boston heading into Denver. 6-3 Boston heading into an 8-1 best start, I believe, since the 70s still for Denver.
This is a tough one. By looking at the records, you would go with Denver, but I just feel like Boston has too many pieces to lose this game, especially when they're starting to pick up a little bit of steam as well.
Mm-hmm. Right? I can see that. I don't hate it. But, I'm going to say that Boston gets it done. It happens in the fourth quarter, the last 3 minutes of the ball game. I think that Denver leads the first half, but Boston figures it out.
Yeah, Kyrie will probably close that game quick.
All right, at 9 tonight on, it'll be Toronto heading into Utah. 9-1 Toronto, Utah's 4-5.
Toronto's going to curb stop them.
Kawhi is playing.
Yeah.
Toronto's coming off of a arrested front end. I mean, their starters didn't have to play in the third or the fourth quarter last night.
Exactly.
So, and Kawhi didn't even play to get that easy win.
And they're feeling good, too.
They're feeling good. I think they head into Utah and just wax them. Next, we have Memphis versus Golden State. 5-3 Memphis Grizzlies. 9-1 Golden State Warriors.
Next game.
Yeah, I mean, game over. Golden State gets it done. Memphis falls to 5-4. Then we have Minnesota heading into the Clippers. 4-6 Minnesota. 5-4 Clippers.
Actually got Minnesota on this one.
I'm going to say Clippers get it done at home, but I could completely see the other way. So I'm going to go Clippers on that one. All right, and that wraps up our show for today. A lot of good games tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with Shoot the Shot, and we will see you and talk to you then.
All right.